Hello. How's it going today on this Thursday evening? This rainy Thursday evening over here in Louisiana. How are you guys? Thanks for waiting on me. I couldn't log into my StreamYard. They're giving me tons and tons of issues as per usual. I don't get too bent out of shape about it anymore. Just roll with it. How are you guys today? We are coming up on the Lionsgate portal. So share your comments, your hacks, your manifestations, what you are going to ceremoniously, you know, participate in for your manifestation of the 8-8 Lionsgate portal. It's going to be a doozy. I feel a lot of dragon energy, I would say. White dragon energy, if that means anything. I don't know how I know it's a white dragon, but it just feels like a white dragon energy. I'm doing lots of like writing with my body, dancing with my body, as well with an intention, because they say like to write things like is to manifest them. And like, that's why typing things out, it kind of gets lost in the cloud. And we've kind of lost the magic of writing, right? Because it helps manifest things that much quicker. But I've been taking it to a new level, and I was like, I've been writing lists and journaling every morning, which is like been kind of it's definitely sped up energetically for me, my manifestations, but also it's like consolidated my efficiency. So like I don't need to work or expend that much mental space and energy to manifest it. It just kind of knits together. Kind of like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, like Mary Poppins, like all of a sudden the beds are made. Does that make sense? And it makes sense because, when you're in alignment, everything becomes more organized and efficient, just as in nature, right? So when it's in harmony and in balance and has all the elements needed, the blooming effect always just occurs naturally. So yeah, it makes sense. And slowing down, especially while the CERN is turned off, has made that really, really easy for me to really like fully participate in my day and take time and slow down so I can hear God. It's been awesome. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Diana. Nice to see you here. I would teach her time. All righty. I just pulled your hair. What, Martha? um, so yeah. So put down in the comments what your Lionsgate portal manifestations are, your affirmations, your little hacks. If you're burning candles, if you're using quantum codes, if you have a certain prayer that you're saying, if you have a certain quantum leap hack, timeline jump hack, share it below. Let's crowdsource. I think that is one of the things of 2026 is we are going to be sharing so much information on health, wellness, and ascension and spirituality, to help others climb out of whatever spiritual warfare we are currently facing. And speaking of, let's talk about these energetic hosts. because there's a ton of them in this spiritual warfare. And also, my thoughts and prayers go out to Perez Hilton. I think it's very important to address the location in which Perez Hilton is, which is Miami. And a lot of people don't know that Miami is a low vibrational portal. It is a vortex, a demonic portal, in my opinion. That's why they had the mall sighting, alien sighting, whatever, whenever there was that weird portal that opened up and these interdimensional beings like popped out, and they were apparently supposed to, they got the coordinates flipped and reversed. And instead of going all the way to Antarctica, they ended up in the Miami Mall. And everyone's been on lock and key and can't like leak the footage or talk about it or have interviews. Even the cops that were called to the scene and stuff like that. Very weird. It was all buried. Miami, and people have asked me to do like bachelorette readings in Miami and stuff. I won't do it. Anybody that I know that's gone on a girls' trip to Miami, it has ended terribly, just like in Vegas. And I think Vegas also has a demonic portal as well. That's why they have a bunch of casinos and they take your money. So cartography is a thing astrologically. It also there are certain places around the world that are more demonic than others vibrationally. Miami is one of them. And when you have made deals and contracts in Hollywood, in my opinion, you become more vulnerable to certain entities, to certain loosh harvesting by contract, and what your free will choice is. And, I saw Candace Owens, she thinks her opinion is that he is on drugs. And yeah, that could be it. But also, there's just something different at play, something different in his eyes, something commissioning and controlling the movements of his body that didn't seem human. Like, I couldn't get through it. I didn't want to expose myself to that video because I was so sensitive, but immediately I got that it was the fact that he was in Miami made him very susceptible to certain demonic energies, and that Miami is not a good city for him to be in, or the children. That was my thought. And my thoughts and prayers go out to him. I hope, he's strong enough spiritually to fight that fight and get to higher ground that he needs to find perspective. That's all I'll say on that. Just because we don't know what anyone else is going through. And I think in the spiritual warfare, it's so important. Everyone's journey is so unique and different. And I think what we're learning in 2026 is that we all need each other's stories to find a way to higher ground. And the more that we let go of identifying things and labels that we cling so heavily to, like Catholicism, Christianity, there's evil in every sector that we cling to as the Holy Grail. It really is. And finding, unconditional love for certain people's stories and perceptions, and it all is valuable. It is all valuable to get to higher ground, in my opinion. I keep saying higher ground. I don't know why my guides are like channeling that through. Like, it's time to get to higher ground. It's time to get to a higher perspective instead of sitting and contemplating and judging everyone. It's really important to like be able to call out the train wreck before it actually crashes. You know what I mean? Instead of commenting and everyone having a podcast and commenting on the crash after the fact, you know? So I don't know. Just my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Put your QQQs in the chat. Um, Hi, Cam. Sound is cutting out again. I swear to God, these little bitches. Can y'all hear me? Okay, good. Hi, Sunkiss, Chris. So yeah, okay, so today I wanted to kind of talk about energetic protection and spiritual protection. Um, so one of the biggest things that I teach to my students is your childhood prayers of protection or your childhood belief system you grew up in is going to be the greatest protection. So, like, if I'm in an emergency situation, you're going to hear me saying the Hail Mary. It's what I do. It's what I do. And I don't know why. It's just that's, I guess, the first prayer I remembered as a child and the first one I learned for the rosary. And it just holds so much weight and so much power when I speak those words out loud. So, any type of medallion, any type of sacred object that some people love, holy water, and whatever that is, it creates a neuro pathway that you continuously like gain momentum and strength year after year. So, if you are someone that has a certain book of prayers from childhood or a Bible from childhood, whatever that looks like to you, so important to say or set an intention of protection in the light. You can put yourself in an energetic blue balloon because blue is the color of protection. You with 3 layers as well for each etheric, the astral, and the physical body. You can also, in a really big jam, when I'm just like, there is just demonic energy everywhere and it's so low vibrational, I can't stand it and I can't get out of it, can't remove myself from it. I will immediately put myself in like a disco ball. And if it's really, really bad, I'll do like another layer of like a black mirror so I go invisible. I'll visualize that. An archangel, Saint Michael the Archangel prayer as well is a really great one. Whenever speaking with spirit, I always call on Archangel Michael and see a indigo, purpley, blue color in my mind's eye when he's around. Archangels have a lot of colors that they're associated with as well. Now, we all see colors differently, so that's very important to point out. So some people's blue and purple and might look a little different, might look violet to others. So, it's just about getting to know the radio station and frequency and tapping into it to get to know the color and the vibrations associated with each archangel. And so what I do is it's called the Lesser Banishing Pentagram. And it is the pentagram upright is in all denominations and a very, very powerful sacred geometry of protection. And I will face starting in the east and go clockwise. I will invoke in every direction the archangels associated with that direction so that it seals all corners of my auric and energetic field. And I will call in a Latin prayer of protection as well. And this is what I do every day before my readings, before any sacred work. And the biggest form of protection is always going to be meditation and closing down the mind, not allowing thoughts to seep in and to really slow down the nervous system. So anytime you're doing meditation, I think some people get confused that meditation is doing psychic work out on the astral, and it's not. Meditation is simply being a speck of awareness and expanding beyond transcendental meditation, where you are not bound by your body and mind. You are just a speck of awareness and have returned back to source. And where the timeline, this is another thing. It's not that this is my bone to pick with a lot of people, and so many people that are Christians and have a faith, they automatically assume people that do what I do, like psychic mediums, and they call them new agers. Like, I don't identify with any label. Like, I honestly would just love to call myself like just a star seed or like an indigo child. But it really bothers me when these people that are like extremely into the Bible and like scripture and stuff, they are actually seeing auras and using their third eye, and they say they see angels and they get prophetic wisdom and prophetic dreams. Like, they say, oh, the pineal gland is the devil. Like, what do you think you're hearing the voice of God with? Like, that is clairaudience and clairvoyance. So it's like everyone's using the same stuff spiritually, but they're all calling it different things and saying, oh, but my way is the highway, kind of thing. And I think we're like too convoluted and too like restricted by labels. I think it's super important. It's all about, you can use a scalpel for both killing and healing. Like, it's all about the intention behind it. And so, yeah, it's annoying when these like Christian people will say witchcraft. Listen, your words by definition are spell casting. The English language and gematria is spell casting. This realm here has been demonically taken over by spell casting. It's in our everyday medications, in how the medical system has been set up. The RX symbol is a deity, a demonic deity of sorcery. If you look it up, it is a symbol of sorcery and witchcraft, demonic witchcraft. That's what we're ingesting. So we are actually seeing play out in 2026. We are actually seeing everything spiritually we've talked about, everything that we've spiritually understood with contracts, with revelations in the Bible. We are seeing how every day in the matrix, that is a devilish contract. You buying your car, you signing a lease, those are binding contracts that are binding your soul on some level. When we already, our social security number, our QSIP, our energetic signature is the gold, the alchemy, right? And so the Great Awakening is really awakening to remembering who we are, to really understand this 3D realm, how we have fallen down energetically and frequency wise so low that we have forgotten how to ascend out of it naturally. And so maybe that's the whole point, starting back at square one, reclaiming ourselves. But yeah, that's just like my bone to pick, is that these Christians, even Candace Owens was like, I think that Perez Hilton's on drugs. Well, street drugs and pharmaceutical drugs are the same thugs. They're just dressed differently. It's true. These doctors, they think that there's these great healers. No, no. You've been selling organs on the black market allegedly, not even realizing it. Yeah. When we can regenerate organs, we can yeah. So there's a lot that's going to be revealed in 2026 and 2027 in my opinion. And like I said in my last live, I think we are all coming to the realization that in this pyramid of power that we're living in right now, that they are sacrificing, they're farming us, harvesting us, sacrificing us, and feeding us back to us. And if you want to watch a really, really good conspiracy movie that exemplifies this, Cloud Atlas, one of my favorites. It's a really great movie. It's also about reincarnation, the reincarnation trap. Another great series to watch is Chaos, Black Mirror. What else? Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I feel we're going to see ramp up and come to fruition that we thought would be like so in the future and futuristic that is hitting us now environmentally, artificially intelligence wise. I think I also had a dream about this the other night, which was wild, is that we are going to start kind of like in one of those Black Mirror episodes, that they are going to start like advertising it in our dream state to us. Also, before when I sat down to meditate for this live, I kept hearing the city Baltimore over and over again. So we'll explore that. Remind me of that to pull some cards because I don't know. I think it had to do with Charlie Kirk and the situation with Erica Kirk as of right. I haven't updated myself with the latest on the Erica Kirk and Charlie Kirk saga. Baloney hearing. But I keep hearing the city Baltimore is very, and I heard Baltimore and then I heard framing. So yeah. Okay, let's see. QQQ. Can you explain owning your own sovereignty? So for me, it's just simply first energetically just speaking it into existence, calling your power back. I do not consent to the dark forces. You instantly see your day shift and you instantly see more of a flow in your schedule, is my personal experience. But physically also being in your own sovereignty means being more conscious about what you are binding yourself financially too. So for instance, like owning your own LLC. This helps you become your own corporation. You know, this is why Trump and Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates, they are all playing this billionaires game where they're skirting taxes, putting everything in living trusts, and evading any type of lawsuit, or, you know, they are kind of stepping away from their straw man kind of thing. They're finding sovereignty in their own corporation. And then on top of that, when you get into decentralized, it's very important to educate yourself on where cryptocurrency and digital currency is going, because you can set yourself up for decentralized sovereignty there as well, like your own bank. And this is why ultimately I find crypto in certain areas to be appealing, just because I think there's going to be a transference of wealth and in the near future, and people that understand how to utilize these tools for their own spiritual sovereignty and financial decentralization, to become their own bank, gets a leg up. That's where the transference of wealth is, in my opinion. And I'm just a psychic, and I don't really get that much financial like wisdom psychically or prophetic wisdom psychically, but I did for XRP, and I don't know, it just resonates with me. I'm by no means a financial advisor, but there are ways that I think spiritually we can call and reclaim our sovereignty. But I think now in 2026, we're seeing it manifest visually and physically in this dimension through finances, through the Federal Reserve and all the systems kind of like having to collapse the old ways of doing things and rewrite through the Clarity Act, through new laws in how we're going to govern this digital currency. I mean, they're even putting stuff into digital on the digital blockchain. Lots of assets that's going to be an interesting transfer as well. And you got to be able to follow your intuition, because I think there's also a time to get in crypto and then also a time to get out. But you can also like look into being a sovereign citizen, a natural born citizen, and not essentially lease everything. Like eventually it's going to be like a Black Mirror episode where we're all paying and we don't have enough storage. We're going to have to pay, we're going to get into debt for storage, both physically, digitally. You know, they're trying to do it now with Netflix and, you know, all these data centers and like holding everything digitally so they can wipe it clean. I mean, most of my storage unit has books. I value my books because you never know. They're just like rewriting history. And have y'all seen those stories about like AI, like they're ripping up old books and libraries to feed to AI? It's kind of scary. Like AI could like completely erase. In fact, I think that's what already has happened with like the Tartarian times and hieroglyphics and you know, the pyramids. You can see that they had little tablets and certain BlackBerry devices and things like that. And yeah, I think this is repeated 7 different generations of humans being reset. And each time they got a little smaller in stature each time. And so this is the great awakening. Hopefully we can make the cut and ascend enough to climb out of this hellhole. I'm going off on tangents today. Adjustment Bureau. What else is she on? I don't know who you're talking about. Let me know, Diana. Is the sound okay? Y'all can't hear me? Can y'all hear me? I value books and photos. Yeah. Something I've passed on to my kids that are precious to me. Yep. Okay, good. Okay, good. I'm like paranoid about this sound now in my mic. So yeah, so prayer and protection really important, but also declaring your sovereignty and just saying, I do not consent to the dark forces. 6:06 on my clock right now. Actually, it's 6:13 actually, but that's interesting. My clock's wrong. Yeah. The number of the devil. Yeah, we're in a spiritual warfare right now. I think that we're seeing demonic entities body hopping a lot. I think that what we saw with Perez Hilton is a Hollywood contract in its full-fledged form being written out. Like a demonic entity by contractual design and free will was being using the body, the vessel, the portal to harm himself, which is really sad. There's questions about Lionsgate. Okay. Yeah. Shoot. Okay. Could you explain Lionsgate? So it's an energetic portal, the 8/8 portal, which is in 2 days, August 8th, is an energetic manifestation of abundance. And, the number 8 is also connected to infinity. And it's a time of the spiritual community where you set everything in motion in the fall that you want to harvest and manifest for the remainder of the year. And in fact, if your birthday is in that quarter, so like if you're like a Libra, Virgo, or Leo, your birthday, a month before and after your birthday, is always the highest time of manifestation. So if you're any one of those signs, it's really important as well to also set an intention around the Lionsgate portal, because you're going to have extra momentum on your side and energy bringing something into fruition. So what I like to do is really do a list of 10 goals that I want to achieve for my business, for my spiritual growth and ascension, and just for my overall life. Like I always think about like what my future self would say to my inner child. Like, would I be proud? And what would my inner child like to see my future self come back and tell them, you know? What would make them excited? And so that's my like standard, my gold standard for that. But really, it's anything. It's you could be wanting to manifest a healthier lifestyle. You could want to slow down and make the most of your time with loved ones and being in the present moment, whatever it looks like to you. It's a time to set an intention and bring that into 3D physical realm from the spiritual 5D realm. So that's my personal little definition of Lionsgate. Cam says, why do dark forces focus on the Lionsgate? I don't necessarily know if that's true. I haven't really heard that. But I'll take your word for it. I think that, as with everything in life, there's two sides to a coin in duality. I think that the opposite of love is hate. So if someone hates you, it's because they feel rejected in some way by love. It's the direct opposite, an inverse or reverse of it. And it's the same thing with the devil. It's the same thing with darkness. It's the same thing with negative polarity. And so you can't be traveling in two directions at once. So for me, I like to choose oneness. I like to kind of merge, find the unconditional love in both aspects of myself, accept the things I can't change, but also improve and work towards the things that I can control, for the greater good of all. And yeah, I would imagine that it's if you're looking at it from a dark arts perspective, I would imagine that the dark forces would have to feed off of the joy and the light of others to manifest. And that essentially is like ritualistic harvesting and loose harvesting and the pyramid scheme of all these dark societies. Like there's a reason that on every pack of cigarettes, there's some reference to the pyramids, like Camel cigarettes in the background. That it's really about the pyramid. It is, you're choosing to become a burned sacrifice, smoking a zaggarat, I think it's called, or zaggarat sounds like a cigarette. It is a burning ritual. You're sacrificing yourself. Every pack of cigarettes will have some reference to the pyramids. And the burning ritual of sacrifice. So, yeah, everything in this realm is kind of a subtle symbolic definition of that. And so really being intentional and being sovereign about your choices and what you give your energy to and your focus, your sacred pineal focus, is that much more important during the Lionsgate portal too, because this is a projector into this physical realm. That's why they want to like shut it down they want to calcify it with fluoride and things like that to make us weaker. The projector not as like vivid. It's almost like a 3D printer, if you ask me. Your pineal gland. Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's important to kind of find oneness within yourself. And if you're so focused on demonic stuff everywhere you go, you're going to get paranoid. It's everywhere. It is everywhere. And you start to realize that you are the beauty within the dust. You make dust into beauty. That is our God spark. That you are the conduit that brings a frequency of source, heaven down here on earth. So it's a constant practice. It's a constant remembering. It's a constant wiping your memory clean at night and then having to start all over and wake back up. And yeah, it's a battle every day, in my opinion. So I think it's a constant conscious choice to choose to bring light into dark, to bring your light in a dark corner of the world, and to focus on, the love aspects and not the hate aspects. That's the only way we're going to be able to timeline jump through the heart portal vehicle, through the Merkaba, in my opinion. Oh, thank you. Interesting. I've heard people refer to Lionsgate used for darker forces, but personally, I don't feel that. As with everything, people will invert it and use it for financial gain, exploiting people. You're gonna find that everywhere. One thing my guides are showing me. Okay, so this is my necklace. It's really like it's very tangled. I need to buy a new chain. But I have the Tinsor rings. I'm obsessed with copper Tinsor rings and gold Tinsor rings. They are sacred measurements when placed on the body in a certain arrangement. So like this ring right here, when it's facing outside on top of the flower of life, that holds all the energy back in my auric system for me. And speaking of energetic hose, like you'll notice when you have very high vibration, people will love to come and touch you or touch your hair or touch the left side of your body or your hands. And that means that they are kind of like siphoning your energy and trying to ground out on your good nature, on your good frequency. And I noticed whenever I was doing a lot of my spiritual work, when I was doing my psychic development courses, but also at the same time doing my Ashtanga yoga certification. So I was like really in this like high frequency, like meditation all day, every day, like completely detoxing my life of people that no longer frequency served me frequency wise and wasn't a match to my frequency. But the higher I would climb in frequency, also the lower I would attract as well, because you attract the equal but also opposite. And so me being in this like unconditionally heart giving loving space, I would often get caught up in these lower frequency energies that just like did not deserve me. So and then I would feel kind of like controlled or stuck or whatever. So my psychic teacher recommended tinsel rings, and I have a bigger one that I drop to cut cords around my body, and I sleep with it under my bed for grounding. But I have one that's also kind of like as big as a bracelet that I put around my cups of water to ionize water and charge water, because they like to invert everything. They like to suck out the nutrition from everything, our water, the good anions from things. They energetically, everything in this physical realm is designed to take life force away from us. That's how you know it's kind of like a prison planet. So a good rule of thumb for anything in life, anything and everything, if something or someone is only draining, you can't be two things at once. Some things are only life-giving. I mean, well, all things are only life-giving or life-taking. There's no in between. You can't be traveling in two directions at once. So, yeah. So when you are come in contact with someone that is draining, it's not going to shift to suddenly giving you life force. So it's about making conscious decisions and navigating accordingly. And stop like asking for permission to do it. Just do it. Just act on it. You don't have to explain yourself. Half of my life I felt bad or didn't want to be impolite, and no. That's what experience and ages taught me, is like I just don't care what anyone thinks of me anymore. I'll let my energy speak for itself, and I'll let the rumors fly. I don't care. I'm tired of explaining myself. If you don't see my good nature, if you don't see my good heart, then you don't deserve to know me. That's how I feel. You will feel my frequency. You will feel my voice and my vibration. And if you're meant to be in my life, and you'll see me and recognize me, you'll remember me and my soul. And so I don't waste my time anymore energetically on the bots, on the NPCs that want to stay asleep, that want to remain in the Truman Show. I want to be awake. I want to take the red pill. I think it's the red pill, right? The truth pill. So tinsel rings are great for protecting your energy, and anything in sacred geometry is also very protective as well. Now I have these 0-point pendants that are energetically infused with frequencies of all the healthy solfeggio frequency hertz that have been engineered into the 0-point pendant from the 0-point field. Is kind of like the same engineering and the same idea behind the God particle. basically. So and the 0 point field is like anytime I connect and do psychic work, I make sure I get to the 0 point field energetically first, both in the state of mind, mentally and physically. So like really grounded and at a point of like no judgment. Like I like to go in blind kind of thing with like a newborn baby, like no judgment, no preconceived notions, nothing. And so this is how I protect on a regular basis. Just it's kind of like my first line of defense. And then my second line of defense is prayer. And that becomes stronger and stronger the more you invoke it and the more you use the power of voice and frequency. And then the third line of defense is just living a life of consciousness, of intentionality. You know, part of taking your sovereignty back and from the dark forces is not allowing them to throw wrenches in your day with stress, worry. There's always going to be something there. There's always going to be a notification. There's always going to be a bill. There's always going to be a drama. And I'm happy to say that, like, I don't know. It's been so nice not being in a relationship. I have absolutely no drama. And I love it. I love having a boring life and no drama and like peace. Like I can't stand drama. That's just my Libra self. I can't stand it. And that's why I feel like sometimes I can only take so much with like when I get on to YouTube even, I get anxiety like, you know, having a podcast, I have anxiety like talking about like current affairs and stuff because it's so just like it's so anxiety invoking. I don't know. It's just like I like to remain calm. I like to remain peaceful. I like to have solutions. And you know, that's part of the harvesting, the loosh harvesting. So I think when you start to get anxiety, that is a sign that something is taking your life force away. That's your off button. Okay. Let me move away from this, put this down. This is not good for my frequency. It's taking from my life force. If something gets your inner child excited and you could do it endlessly, that is something that is life giving, life force giving. And those people are cheerleaders and people that are life force giving, that are going to support and not talk behind your back and cast witchcraft and destiny spell magic with destiny swapping without even realizing it. That's another thing too I've learned in this past year. Like people are so shut down and not conscious that they don't even realize that they are participating in destiny swapping. They're just chasing the next best trend and thrill and money making endeavor without consciously choosing. So yeah, it's going to have a frequency. It's going to be life-giving. It's not going to invoke anxiety in you. So anyone that invokes anxiety, that's your sign. Pause. Quit it. Come back to it when you're in a peaceful state, when you're in the 0 point field. You know what I mean? Is that why we wear wedding rings on the left hand? Maybe. I know that the reason we wear the fourth finger, the nerve connects directly. That's the only finger that connects directly to the heart. So I think that's why they choose the ring finger as the particular ring finger, because it's connected to the nerve ending of the heart. But yeah, possibly. Left side is our psychic side. It is the receiver. So if you have any kind of like toxic friends that call and like emotionally dump all of their fights, romantic fights with their husband or boyfriend or whatever. Put them on the right ear, not the left ear. The left ear is going to dump all that onto you. You're receiving, and you'll find yourself like fighting with your significant other after you get off the phone with them if you had it on the left ear. In corporate America, you'll realize that men that like to dominate conversations and control where the conversation is going, they will take their right dominant eye and look into your left dominant eye to steer the conversation. And so I learned a long time ago to look in between in the pineal gland, because I would notice people that wanted to control me in the conversation would hook into the left side of my body, get on the left side of my body to talk to me. And that's how you can kind of pick out an energy vampire from a crowd, is they will intuitively know subconsciously to kind of hook in and keep touching your left shoulder, or your left hand, or, play with your hair and get in your bubble on the left side. And so what I used to do is I would cross my arms around my solar plexus and kind of like turn my body so that my right shoulder was like, more directly in line with them, kind of the buffer, the in between. Oh, okay. Hi, Mystic. Yeah. I mean, you have to have these little psychic hacks because you start to learn and like really observe people. People, with all the fluoride and chlorine out there and toxins and chemicals and vaccines, people don't even know what they're doing. They don't even know they're running a program. They don't even know that they are being used by part of the upper pyramid people. It's been so artificially inseminated by now that we don't even realize how much we are programmed. And that's what it means to be truly spiritually sovereign, choosing being unpredictable each and every day. Suddenly being like, okay, I am not going to continue my storage lease and throwing my money, flushing it down a toilet. I'm going to go and I'm going to, buy my own land, buy my own container shipment, storage thing, make my own storage so I own it outright. So that's another thing, like sovereignty, in my opinion, because it's like they're wanting us to own nothing and rent everything out so that eventually we'll like run out of storage digitally and physically, is in my opinion. Like every Black Mirror episode, like where they run freaking digital ads in our sleep state, that kind of stuff. Okay, let's like tap into this Baltimore, and my guys just kind of like interrupted me and we're like, we need to address this Baltimore stuff. Let's like dip in and see what's going on with the energetic hose of Erica Kirk. What can you tell us, Spirit? Okay, so what I'm picking up is in the next 2 weeks, there is going to be a huge story leaked about the priest that came to pray over Charlie right before the machination. By the end of this live, I'm going to have a speech impediment. There's also some significant calls being leaked from a car and the priest before he went to inside the house. What? And a celebration Erica Kirk was celebrating his before it even happened. What? I mean, that's not a surprise, but gosh, I really hope she gets caught, man. Or at least, I mean, she's caught publicly, I feel, by anybody that has like high IQ, emotional IQ. But I just really want her to feel the like I really want her to feel being seen through for what she really is. Like, that's my hope. And everyone involved, I don't know what it's like, but I can imagine going to sleep and waking up every day feeling good about myself. I mean, unless you're just so mind controlled, you're just so delusional that, like, I don't know. The glitter pants can't feel good to her, right? You can't feel good about that choice. I couldn't. Yeah, there's some type of celebration. Maybe a celebration with the priest. Maybe a call to Erica by the priest. Something that's going to show nefarious agendas, ulterior motives with that home visit. That's what I'm getting. There's also a sense of Erica losing some type of independence here. So I think rightfully so. She's in no way, shape, or form meant to be a CEO calling the shots. I don't think she's actually the CEO. I think she is the operating CEO right now, the face of it. But is she the one in control calling the shots? Hell to the nah, nah, nah. There's no way. There's no way. I see a man behind her that's really calling the shots. Who is this? I just heard Baltimore. So this is the connection to Baltimore. Who is in Baltimore? Does anyone know? Is this someone from TPUSA? Ooh, and my right ear is feeling weird. What? My right ear feels so weird. Maybe I need to stop talking. I don't know. Maybe my guides are like, you're going too far. Tell me about what's the significance of Baltimore? Impulsive purchases and the Fool. Now, immediately when I looked at this card and saw the Fool, I saw Ben Shapiro's face. In particular, his eyebrows. And I just heard my guide say he's an energetic hoe as well. He doesn't say no to anybody. He's like a yes guy in the worst possible way. Like he I don't know. The way I'm getting it is like he's like everybody's little bitch. Sorry, I don't know how to say that nicely. Hi, Steve. I feel for Charlie and Erica's children. They're literally both lost both parents. Yeah, I mean, I just don't think Erica Kirk has ever been a stand-up character. I like a lot of the spiritual community says that Erica's like been taken over by her body and things like that. And I put a post about this on one of the like as a reply on one of the comments on my videos. I absolutely hold her accountable. Like when you make these decisions in the CIA and in Hollywood, you are signing contracts that are signing pieces of your soul away. Now you can always reclaim it back And you can always, it's your birthright to always have that sovereignty. But once you climb so high, it's almost like you can't get out of the menagerie. And yeah, so everything she has free will chosen has brought her to this place. It's a culmination. And I don't feel that Charlie is in the same position. I feel that he had better intentions. That's why he was the source, the supply, the battery for everybody. The Truman Show set up shop all around him. He was the battery and the source. And even more of a reason why he's such a teacher of our time and generation is because he's teaching us how to spot out the energetic hoes that just want to be a barnacle on our boat, that want to use our genius, that want to use our life force against our better judgment. And we are the money. We are the alchemy. We are the gold. So that's just where I'm at. I don't think Erica Kirk is innocent by any means. I think it's kind of an embarrassment in how she's grieved this whole situation and responded to it. It's just not how a normal human would grieve, in my opinion. I'm also seeing that she will have people leaking affairs and certain steamy texts as well. Again, on record, this is allegedly. I feel like her and Andrew Colvett have had a long-standing affair. They like look alike to me energetically in the face somehow. I don't know. Just my psychic opinion. Barnacle on her butt. Yeah. I was looking up random back history. Yep, Andrew and Baltimore are connected. Oh, really? I love it when spirit does that. Like, it always surprises me. That's so crazy. Huh. What else, spirit? And then I'm going to go. I'm kind of getting tired. I hope I helped today. I hope y'all liked today's little lesson or talk. Y'all also tell me what you want me to talk about. I'm open to anything. Ooh, this elbow situation is also sticking out at me too. Remember I said Charlie's right elbow was a situation of concern? The way that his right elbow was. I just heard that's why his hands were placed so weirdly. That would make sense in the coffin. That's why his hands looked weird. Maybe they were trying to hide a elbow that was all out of whack and out of socket. Interesting. I didn't even think about that. What's going on with the energy? I feel like nothing or something is on the horizon. Not sure what though. Thanks, Jess. All right, let's see. There's definitely something on the horizon. That's for sure. What is on the horizon, spirit? I just saw Trump's face and then this flew out. And what I see with this is Bitcoin and China. So Bitcoin, China owns Bitcoin, right? Something emerging. Will this be for Trump or against? Against Trump. When will this happen? It's because of Trump's lack of commitment to something or going in on something, wanting to do it himself alone. What else is new? Um, can you tie us all together? Tell us more, Spirit. Not giving enough attention to the overworked. Okay. So are we going to have some backlash? Are we going to finally see people resisting? Yeah. Pushing love to the extremes and imbalance with both work and personal life. Standing up for financial stability. Okay, so we're going to see some what to answer your question, mystic musings, I'm feeling that there's going to be some very, very, very in the fall, some big shifts financially with the Federal Reserve, with Bitcoin, with Trump. And it's going to be a consequence of Trump not going in on something with China or being non-committal with something, not backing up China with something. And somehow I'm seeing that has a backlash in America. So maybe people will be going on strike. Maybe people will start pulling I don't know, there's something I'm just seeing in droves. I'm also seeing keys to a car. So maybe American made cars, some type of protest, maybe something with Ford, there's some type of protest or every American pulling back on something. Is interesting is the feeling I'm getting. Was not expecting to get that. I'll tell you that much. Oh, it was awesome. Thanks. Oh, thank you. Thanks. Just this is, I'm a real authentic person. Like I have done the walk. Like I'm the type of I can't stand spiritual like new agers and everyone that claims they're a remote viewer and have had spiritual insight and like with no like actual like stuff to back it up with, like a story. The trial, it's not an easy road, this spiritual journey. It's not at all. You don't just suddenly wake up a psychic medium. We all have these gifts. But to be pushed to use them in such a deeply profound way, you have to have experienced some deep, deep trauma. That's the whole point of why the pyramid does this, provokes this human suffering. It is to push us to our limits and our psychic abilities, to kind of hopefully use them and crack us open without our knowledge, right? To use us covertly. So yeah, I like to give you actual tangible things that are useful, and I only use what has been my own experience. Now, I find it so valuable to crowdsource with other mediums and other people on this spiritual journey, and I take from everybody. I take from people that are Buddhists or people that are extreme Catholics. And, I was raised Catholic. There's something valuable to take from any and every discipline. However, when you cling to something so tightly and you judge others, that's when you get into murky territory, in my opinion. And to kind of like label others and be like, my way is the best. Like you never truly can know that. You never truly can know from walking other people's shoes what they've endured. And so, yeah, even like with Perez Hilton, I'm sure there's a story there. I'm sure that, cartography is the thing. Astrologic, geographic locations, and demonic portals are a thing. Yep. You're welcome. Yeah, open-mindedness and willingness to be wrong and change our mindset. Yeah, exactly. Like I'm the first to say, like, I'm not the end all be all answer. I'm still learning. I'm still evolving. We're meant to basically like perish once we're done learning here in this physical realm. And even then, when we die, we continue, the spirit ascends and learns and climbs dimensions and teachings. So it's a constant adding of layers to the onion, in my opinion. So, yeah, love is a frequency. Love can't lie. You know what I mean? It just can't. And that's how you can tell the devil. He lies. Oh, Martha's back. The day we think we have nothing new to learn is sad. That's why they're trying to take all these books away from us. Give us AI. What else? Any last messages, spirits, before I go? What would you like to end this reading on? Everyone is receiving support. That's another thing, mystic musings, that through the process financially, whatever is kind of like bubbling up to the surface financially, is the end results that comes out from it is everyone receiving more financial support, so that it will be a good thing. Everyone getting wiser in their money decisions. All right, let me pull from my animal spirit deck. I'm feeling called to grab that one. Ooh, dragon. Remember I was talking about dragon earlier today? The dragon energy. I also feel that mystic musings. I feel the dragon energy bubbling up. It's coming. It's circling the entire planet right now. And there's a fire energy awakening that's like moving people in a spiritual direction that cannot be denied. And maybe sometimes, that's where anger and rage can be useful and productive. It gets us to move. It is the fuel in the engine. I hate getting angry and rageful because it's like I don't know what to do. I'll cry through my rage. Which, have you ever like worked out like raging? I have once in like an infrared sauna, and I was crying at the same time. I don't recommend it. It's the worst feeling. But it was like being pulled in 5 different directions, and all I could do was just a bunch of push-ups like I was a guy. It was really weird. You just got to do what you got to do to transmute the energy and find a productive way to do it. And sometimes like going and kicking a tree. I don't condone harmful acts towards nature, but if you find a good like hardy tree that's thick, yeah, like going and standing on a tree or like just touching it to transmute and ground the energy is super helpful. Or putting your spine on a big 100-year-old thick tree will take any entities and negative whatever has attached to your spine. Go hug a tree. That's why tree huggers are a thing. That's also a great form of protection, clearing, and grounding as well. What else? There's so much. Salt baths, spiritual baths. I've talked about that so many times, where like you incorporate all the elements. So you bring incense for the air element, a candle for the fire. You bring crystals. I like to do clear quartz in the bathtub because clear quartz is a natural filtration system for water. So a great hack for water is you can put clear quartz in any like water, and it's like a filter basically. It pulls out all the impurities from your water, but it also charges your water. Clear quartz is a master healer crystal, and it's great to for the Lionsgate portal to bring the earth element into the bathwater, to charge and manifest your water to become and magnetize in that manifestation, because we also are water. So that is a little spiritual hack, a spiritual bath where you pull in all elements. And I like to add solfeggio 963 hertz in an underwater speaker, and I will just zen out, visualizing what I want to manifest and dreaming about the future. And it just feels like an overall spiritual haul, like cleansing. It's really, really nice. Because, we're bombarded by so many low EMF things and frequencies. It's a lot. And we don't even realize half of our thoughts are not our own. It's like there is spiritual bioweapon and warfare that they are targeting our bodies and musculature to, release memories of shame and fear and crisis and things like that. And as you become more aware of yourself in a higher frequency and your thoughts in a higher frequency, when you're not anxiety ridden, when you're not worried about something, you'll start to notice just how much out of random nothingness these feelings of worry and panic and fear come up out of nowhere. You'll start to notice it's like, oh, when I walked by that water meter or that smart meter or that frequency, that's what unleashes that feeling in my neck, things like that. You'll start to really, really notice just how each and every item frequency-wise affects you and your thoughts in your bubble. So again, everything in life is either energy life-giving or life-taking. And so the more that you can, for the Lionsgate portal, let's all make a conscious intention and declaration that we are going to start acting on only life-giving measures. That's including people, things, places, objects that only give us life instead of taking it away, because so much of our daily life is constantly taking away. Like, imagine going and looking at your bank account and energetically there's a deposit like every hour. That's what energetically should be happening to us. Yeah. So let's make a collective conscious decision with that. And let's leave some comments below and see if we can like make an energetic Lionsgate portal all our own. And see what happens. Let's see what happens. Let's do a human crowdsourcing experiment, right? Yeah. Yeah. So let's envision looking into our bank account and energetically receiving deposit on the hour every hour. That's what your daily life should look like, with people, with friends, with family members, and start to take, stock of just how much energetically during the day, what adds to it, what takes away, and start eliminating what takes away from you. All righty, guys. I'm gonna try and come on tomorrow as well, probably around the same time. So 5:00 p.m., 5-ish. We'll see. I don't want to like say it and then I have tech issues again, but my mic will be fully charged and I'll make sure of it. And thank you guys for your support. I really, really appreciate you liking, subscribing, and sharing, because I know they like to shadow ban me. But you guys are everything. You're amazing. And yay for the Lionsgate. Love you. See you tomorrow.